It's been nearly 8 years since a floating salmon farm broke loose near Cypress Island in Skagit County. 250,000 non-native Atlantic salmon got loose into the Salish Sea.
The collapse was a true act of negligence.
That was in 2017, but today there's public policy controversy stemming from that disaster. Since then, DNR has been phasing out net pens, first shifting to only growing native fish. Now, the agency has banned all commercial net pens in state waters.
These net pen fish farms on our state-owned aquatic lands, it was very clear there was impacts.
In her final meeting as Public Lands Commissioner, Hillary Franz put it to a vote. Critics saying DNR did not look at new science that shows net pens can be good and rushed the vote to happen before she left office.
The DNR rule was really rushed through in order to meet the time frame of the commissioner that was departing.
In the vote, 4 voted to ban the pens, but 2 members abstained, one saying she didn't have enough time to read the latest science.
I didn't feel comfortable casting a vote one way or the other. I felt like we could have had a little more conversation, particularly agency involvement in the conversation.
DNR's scientific report cited one 2022 study from the Department of Ecology that showed net pens can harm water quality, sensitive habitats, and species. But scientists throughout Western Washington say DNR did not consider the most up-to-date research that shows net pens can be good if maintained properly.
I can speak to the science of net pen aquaculture, and the science is very clear.
NOAA's Ken Kane is the research manager at the Manchester facility near Port Orchard.
It's clear that it's the most sustainable way to produce animal protein.
Kane says with this ban, the alternative is importing fish from other countries, leading to a larger carbon footprint, no control over standards, and more expensive fish for consumers.
In this country, we import almost 80% of the seafood that we consume, and that is not an environmentally sustainable way to do it.
Kane says scientists from multiple agencies have been monitoring the impacts of that 2017 spill and says there are no negative signs of Atlantic salmon impacts here locally, despite initial worries.
It didn't result in this catastrophic colonization of the Sound by Atlantic salmon like many seem to claim.
Jim Parsons is the president of the Northwest Aquaculture Alliance and CEO of Jamestown Seafood. Before the shutdown, Parsons says Puget Sound net pens produce the same quantity of fish that fishermen caught wild on the entire West Coast.
Net pens really represent a way for us to do this with low impacts to the environment when we compare it with other types of production.
A 2023 DNR document showed the agency intended to look at outside opinions before drafting a final plan, saying they'd tap the expertise of NOAA and the State Department of Fish and Wildlife. But when board members asked DNR about what other agencies helped in the final report and proposal, DNR said they relied on their own experts.
The expertise was all based in the department. Did you reach out to the other state agencies?
There wasn't any specific outreach that was done in this final phase, and my team is the experts.
We were not approached for comment.
Neither was the Department of Fish and Wildlife. Their chief scientist wrote in during the public comment period saying, quote, "In the absence of consulting with all the appropriate state agencies, DNR's analysis should be considered simply DNR's opinion rather than the best available science." Also divided on the ban, local tribes whose lives center around salmon. The Jamestown Sklallam tribe, based in Sequim, has openly been against the ban, adapting net pens into their culture.
Look, we're really into this. We really care. And we want to feed our people because the wild stock is not enough anymore. And if I can make fish right here locally that is healthy and good for my people, we're going to invest in that.
The Upper Skagit and Swinomish tribes and the Lummi Nation disagree, thanking Franz for her work.
We'd love to wrap her in this blanket and honor her.
At a ceremony to celebrate the ban, the tribe said their focus is keeping native salmon healthy.
From our ancestors that salmon are as important as the air that we breathe.
It'll be a fight for years to come, I believe. But we're used to that as tribes. We will fight to protect the last fish.
A debate that many hope won't end here. DNR has emphasized it does not have to consult with other scientists. Former Commissioner Franz tells me DNR is a landowner and has the right to do what they want with their land. She also believes these scientists simply disagree with this decision, which is why there has been so much pushback. Multiple people tell me this ban could be reversed if the board revisited the topic and voted again. For Environment Northwest, I'm meteorologist Leah Pizzetti.
And in a statement, DNR says it's fully confident in its review of science regarding the impacts to Puget Sound, going on to say the simple fact is these operations impact habitat wherever they are sited. There is no controversy about that.